The galaxy was old, very old. Thousands of empires had risen and fallen among the stars. Some ruled with wisdom, others ruled with fear. But all of them followed the same rule. The strong take what they want. The weak learn to obey. That was why no one respected Earth. Humans were new to the galactic stage. They had only recently learned faster than light travel. Their colonies were small. Their ships looked simple compared to ancient alien warcraft. To the great powers of the galaxy, Earth was nothing more than a future resource. So when the Zerath Dominion set its eyes on human space, no one tried to stop them. The Zerath were conquerors by nature. Their empire was built on burned worlds and broken fleets. They did not ask for permission. They did not wait for answers. They simply arrived. A massive Zerath fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the human star system. Hundreds of ships spread out in perfect formation. Heavy cannons charged. Shields glowed like artificial suns. The Zerath admiral looked at the data scrolling across his screen. No large human fleet. No defense stations. No sign of resistance. He smiled. Humans are smarter than we thought, he said. They already know they cannot win. Then a signal appeared. It did not come from a warship. It did not come from a fortress. It came from a small, unarmed human satellite. The message was short, calm, clear. Zerath fleet, this is Earth. You are entering a restricted system. Turn back now. This is your only warning. The bridge filled with laughter. Officers mocked the weak human voice. Some replayed the message just to laugh again. A warning? From this species? The admiral leaned back in his command chair. Is that all? He asked, and no threats, no surrender? An officer scanned the system again. Nothing, Admiral, only empty space and a quiet star. The admiral nodded. Transmit our reply, he said. The Zerath response was loud and proud. Earth, you stand before the Zerath Dominion. Lower your defenses and prepare for occupation. The human satellite did not answer. Instead, a second message appeared, identical to the first. Turn back now. This is your only warning. The laughter stopped, not because of fear, but because of confusion. Why repeat the same message? The admiral frowned. Advance, he ordered. They are stalling. The fleet moved forward, crossing the invisible border of the system. The moment they did, something strange happened. Human signals vanished. Every satellite, every probe, every transmission, gone. No distress calls, no explosions, just silence. The Zerath sensors showed nothing unusual. Space looked normal. The star burned quietly at the center of the system. Yet the silence felt heavy, unnatural. An officer shifted nervously. Admiral, long-range sensors show no human activity anywhere in the system. Of course, the admiral replied. They ran. But deep down, even he felt something was wrong. Human history had been studied. Humans were stubborn, emotional. They did not abandon their home easily. Then another message arrived. Not spoken. Not written. It appeared directly on every screen at once. White text on black space. You were warned. The lights on the bridge flickered. Navigation screens glitched. Star maps shifted slightly and then corrected themselves. Report, the admiral shouted. An officer checked his station, panic in his voice. Admiral, our position, it does not match known charts. Another officer spoke. Jump drives are not responding. The admiral stood up slowly. That is impossible. The fleet had crossed countless systems. Nothing could block a Zerath jump drive. Yet the controls remained dead. Outside the viewports, the stars seemed closer. Moving, the admiral realized something far too late. Earth had not warned them because it was afraid. Earth had warned them because it was polite. And now, the warning was over. Far away, beyond sight, human observers watched in silence. They did not cheer. They did not celebrate. They simply waited. Because the Zerath fleet had entered human space, and no one who ignored Earth's warning had ever truly left. The Zerath admiral stood frozen on the command bridge. Nothing around him made sense anymore. The star maps no longer matched reality. Distance markers changed every second. Ships that were supposed to be flying in perfect formation now appeared slightly out of place, as if space itself had shifted beneath them. Run a full system scan, the admiral ordered. The scanners came back clean. No weapons fire, no energy spikes, no human ships. And yet the fleet was trapped. An officer tried to hide his fear. Admiral, we are still moving forward, but our speed is decreasing. That is impossible, the admiral snapped. Engines are at full power. Yes, Admiral, the officer replied. But space is resisting us. The bridge fell silent. Space did not resist. Space did not push back, unless something had changed. The Admiral ordered the fleet to spread out and regain formation. Commands were sent instantly. Only half the ships responded. The rest did nothing. Repeat the order, he said. This time, fewer ships replied. Then the first scream echoed across the bridge. A communications officer clutched his head and fell to the floor. Admiral, another officer shouted. We are receiving signals on all channels. The screens exploded with noise. Static, broken images, short flashes of human symbols. Then silence again. One of the fleet captains finally broke radio silence. Admiral, this is Battleship Kravex. Our crew reports strange effects. Time readings are unstable. Some systems are aging faster than others. Before the Admiral could respond, the signal cut out. The Kravex vanished from sensors. Not destroyed, not exploding, simply gone. The Admiral's breathing slowed. He had seen fleets die before. He had burned entire worlds. But he had never seen a ship disappear. Emergency retreat, he ordered. All ships prepare to jump. Jump drives powered up across the fleet, then failed. Every single one. Another message appeared on every screen. You are inside the system now. The text changed. Distance has no meaning here. The Admiral slammed his fist into the console. What are they doing to us? No one answered. Outside, the stars began to move in unnatural ways. Some stretched into long lines. Others flickered like dying lights. A science officer whispered, Admiral, the humans have changed local gravity, not just around us, around everything. Another ship vanished. Then another. No sound. No warning. Just empty space where they once existed. Panic spread through the fleet. Captains ignored orders. Ships fired weapons into nothing. Missiles flew forward and curved away, pulled by invisible forces. Nothing hit anything. Human voices finally returned. Not angry. Not loud. Calm. You crossed the line? The Admiral stared at the message. How? He whispered. How did a weak species do this? The answer came without words. Space itself bent. The fleet realized they were no longer together. Each ship was being slowly pulled into its own pocket of space, separated, isolated. Alone. A final message appeared, meant only for the Zirath Admiral. You believed power was measured in fleets. We learned something else. The Admiral tried to speak, tried to respond. But the stars outside his ship folded inward like closing eyes. Far away in safe observation zones, human commanders watched quietly. They did not feel joy. They felt responsibility. This weapon was never meant to conquer, only to protect. One human officer spoke softly. They ignored the warning. Another nodded. Then there is nothing left to say. Back inside the collapsing space, the Zirath Admiral understood the truth.
Humans were not weak.
They were careful. And careful species survived long enough to become something far worse than conquerors. They became untouchable. The last Zirath signal faded into nothing, and the galaxy continued to watch, not knowing that this was only the beginning. Long before the Zirath fleet vanished, humans had accepted a hard truth. They would never win a war by building bigger ships. Other species were older, stronger, faster. Their weapons were powered by ancient science passed down for thousands of years. Humans could copy some of it, but they could never match the scale. So humanity chose a different path. They asked a dangerous question. What if the battlefield itself could fight for us? The idea was simple. The execution took generations. When the Zirath Admiral's fleet entered the human system, they believed they were moving through empty space. They were not. Every planet, every moon, every asteroid, all of it was part of a quiet human design. Deep beneath the system's star, invisible machines awakened. Not weapons, not engines. Anchors. Gravity anchors. They did not fire beams or missiles. They whispered to space. They pulled, pushed, and folded reality in small, careful ways. Human scientists called it the net. To the Zirath fleet, it felt like being caught in a slow, invisible storm. Inside one Zirath cruiser, the crew watched their clocks with growing fear. Some ran faster. Some slowed down. Some stopped completely. A technician screamed when he realized his armor had aged years and seconds, while the air around him remained unchanged. On another ship, gravity reversed without warning. Crew members slammed into the ceiling, bones broke, consoles shattered. Still no explosions, still no attack. Only control. The Zerath Admiral's ship drifted deeper into distorted space. View screens showed impossible shapes, stars bending into curves, planets stretched thin like reflections in water. A final human message arrived. This system is under human protection. You are experiencing safety limits. The Admiral laughed bitterly. Safety, he whispered. This is execution. But he was wrong. Humans were not killing them. Not yet. Each Zerath ship was being separated, locked into its own pocket of altered space. No ship could see another. No signal could travel far enough to reach help. Isolation was the weapon. Fear was the result. One Zerath captain attempted to overload his reactor, choosing death over waiting. The explosion never happened. Energy vanished the moment it formed, swallowed by the warped space around the ship. Even suicide had been removed as an option. Across the system, human observers watched carefully. Every movement was tracked, every reaction measured. A human commander spoke quietly. They're still alive. A scientist nodded, as designed. Earth had made a choice long ago. If an enemy attacked, they would not be destroyed in anger. They would be contained. Another Zerath ship vanished, not into nothing but into deep storage space far beyond normal reality. Human logs marked it as secured. The galaxy, watching from afar, could not understand what was happening. Their sensors showed the Zerath fleet entering human space. Then silence. No debris, no radiation, no proof of battle, only a growing empty zone around Earth's system. Alien leaders argued. Some claimed the humans used forbidden weapons. Others believed the fleet had betrayed the Dominion and fled. Only the oldest species felt true fear. They had seen something like this once before. A long-dead civilization that had learned to bend space instead of breaking it. And that civilization had never needed an empire. Back inside his isolated prison of twisted reality, the Zerath Admiral finally understood. Humanity had not built a wall. They had built a door that only opened one way. The Admiral sent one final message, not to his fleet, but to the galaxy. Earth is not weak, he transmitted. Earth is patient. The message never reached its destination. Human systems recorded it anyway, not as a threat, but as confirmation. The Zerath fleet had crossed the line, and now they belonged to the system they tried to conquer. Far away, Earth sent out a new broadcast across known space. It was calm, simple. Our borders are stable. Thank you for respecting them. The galaxy listened, and for the first time truly understood. Humanity's greatest weapon was not violence. It was control without mercy. The galaxy noticed the silence before it understood the fear. The Zerath Dominion was not a small power. Its fleets patrolled dozens of systems. Its trade routes were always active. Its war signals were always loud. Then in a single cycle, everything stopped. No fleet reports, no command signals, no emergency beacons. At first, the Zerath High Council assumed a technical failure. Communication errors happened. Even large empires had bad days. But hours passed. Then days. Still nothing. Long-range observers confirmed the truth no one wanted to accept. The entire Zerath invasion fleet had entered human space, and nothing had ever come back out. No wreckage drifted at the border. No damaged ships limped home. No survivors told stories. The fleet had not been destroyed in a normal battle. It had been erased. Smaller empires began to panic. Trade convoys rerouted away from Earth's region. Exploration missions were canceled. Ancient species dug through forbidden archives, searching for answers they hoped did not exist. The question spread across the stars. What did humans do? The Galactic Forum demanded a response. Earth answered. The human representative did not wear armor. He did not threaten, he did not even raise his voice. He spoke one sentence. They ignored the warning. The chamber erupted. Alien leaders shouted, accused, demanded proof. How can a young species destroy an entire fleet? What weapon did you use? Is this an act of war? The human representative waited for silence. Then he spoke again. We did not attack them. The room grew quiet. We asked them to turn back. They refused. A powerful elder species leaned forward. Where is the Zerath fleet now? The human paused, then answered carefully. They are contained. That single word froze the chamber. Contained meant alive. Contained meant controlled. Contained meant something far worse than death. Across the galaxy, military doctrines were rewritten overnight. Borders were redrawn. Fleets that once moved freely now stopped far from human space. Even the most aggressive empires sent polite messages to Earth. Trade offers. Research requests. Apologies for past insults. Earth accepted some, ignored others. Meanwhile, human systems remained quiet. No fleets moved. No weapons charged. No threats issued. That silence was louder than any war cry. Deep inside classified human facilities, observers continued to monitor the captured Zirath ships. Time flowed differently in each pocket of space. Some crews experienced hours, others experienced years. No torture, no questioning, just waiting. Humanity had learned that fear grew strongest in silence. An alien scout ship finally dared to approach the edge of human space. It stopped far from the border, scanning carefully. Its sensors detected something impossible. Tiny distortions in space, perfectly placed, perfectly stable, like a massive web stretched across the system. The scout immediately retreated. Its report spread fast. Earth was not defended by fleets. It was defended by physics. Back on Earth, a human strategist reviewed old history files. Ancient wars, fallen empires. Every one of them had relied on force alone. Humans had learned a better lesson. Survival did not come from being strongest. It came from making sure the enemy could never touch you at all. The Zirath Dominion finally broke its silence. A new leader rose to power and sent a single message to Earth. It was not a threat. It was a request. Return our fleet, Earth replied after a long pause. The fleet crossed our border by choice. We warned them. There will be no return. The message ended with something unexpected. We hope this prevents future loss of life. The galaxy understood then. Humans were not conquerors. They were wardens, and their prison was space itself. From that day forward, every star map marked human systems with a simple symbol. Not a skull, not a warning sign. Just 3 words translated into every language. Do not cross, because the galaxy had learned the truth too late. You could fight humans. You could insult humans. But if you ignored their warning, you would not die. You would simply disappear. The galaxy did not sleep after the Zirath fleet vanished. It watched. Every major empire reviewed its battle records. Simulations were run millions of times. No outcome showed a victory against what humans had done. You could not dodge it. You could not overpower it. You could not even see it. That frightened everyone. The strongest empires had always believed in one truth. If you gathered enough ships, you could break anything. Humanity had shattered that belief without firing a single shot. Diplomatic channels around Earth filled with messages. Careful messages. Respectful messages. Some were written with fear hidden behind polite words. Others were honest. We wish to open peaceful trade. We request knowledge exchange. We recognize human borders. Earth answered slowly. Never rushed. Never emotional. Because speed showed weakness and humans had learned patience well. Inside the Galactic Forum, new laws were proposed. Border rules, first contact limits, rules of engagement. Many of those laws were copied directly from human policy documents. That alone told the truth. The galaxy was no longer leading humanity. Humanity was leading the galaxy. Meanwhile, the Zirath Dominion struggled to survive without its fleet. Worlds that once bowed in fear now questioned their rulers. Rebellion spread. Trade partners left. A single failed invasion had broken an empire. Human observers watched but did not interfere. They had not acted to destroy the Zirath, only to stop them. That difference mattered. Deep within one of the containment zones, the Zirath admiral still lived. Time moved slowly for him. Days felt like years. He no longer raged. He thought. He remembered the warning. The calm human voice. The chance to turn back. For the first time in his life, he understood defeat that came from choice, not force. Far across the galaxy, rumors grew. Some said humans had weapons older than the universe. Others believed Earth was protected by sleeping gods. Humans let the rumors spread. Fear required imagination. Truth was not always needed. A human diplomat once explained it simply. We don't need you to understand how it works. We only need you to believe it does. That belief changed everything. Pirate fleets avoided human trade routes. War fleets slowed when passing near human space. Even ancient species adjusted their paths. The galaxy learned a new habit. It learned to walk carefully. On Earth, life continued normally. Cities grew. Children studied the stars. Most humans never knew how close the galaxy had come to disaster. They only knew one thing: Earth was safe. A young human officer once asked a senior commander, "What if someone attacks again?" The commander smiled slightly. "They will receive the same warning, and if they ignore it, then they will join the others." The officer paused. "The others?" The commander looked at the star map, at the silent markers hidden behind classified layers. The ones who chose not to listen. Across the galaxy, a new saying spread among alien militaries: "Never test human patience," because humans did not rush to war. They prepared for it long before it ever arrived. The Zereth fleet had been the proof, and the galaxy had learned its lesson: without blood, without fire, and without hope of revenge. Because you cannot fight an enemy who never stands in front of you. You cannot threaten an enemy who already controls the ground you stand on. And you cannot defeat a species that turns space itself into a shield. As one ancient alien historian finally wrote, "Humanity did not conquer the galaxy. They made conquest unnecessary, and that was far more terrifying." Years passed. The galaxy did not forget the Zerath fleet, but it stopped talking about it openly. Some stories were too heavy to repeat. Some lessons were best remembered in silence. Human space remained calm. No war fleets gathered. No weapons tests echoed through the stars. No threats were made. Yet no one crossed the border, because everyone knew the rule. Earth never announced it as law. It was never carved into stone or written into galactic code. It simply existed. Respect the warning. That was all. A new generation of alien leaders grew up hearing the story, not as a myth but as history. They ignored Earth's warning, and then they were gone. Explorers avoided human systems by wide margins. Military academies used the incident as a lesson, not in strategy, but in restraint. The strongest students were taught a painful truth. Power is not shown by attack. Power is shown by control. Deep inside human territory, the containment zone still existed, hidden from normal space, stable, silent. The Zerath admiral remained alive. Time had changed him. He no longer dreamed of victory. He no longer hated humans. He studied them. Through limited observation windows, he watched Earth. Humans did not celebrate their strength. They did not build monuments to fear. They lived. They argued. They created. They planned for futures that did not include war. That confused him more than his defeat. One day, a human message appeared inside his containment field. Not a threat, a question. "Do you understand now?" The admiral took a long time to answer. "Yes," he said slowly. "You never wanted to destroy us." The reply came, "Correct. Then why keep us here?" Another pause. "So you could learn." The admiral closed his eyes. That was when he finally understood humanity's greatest weapon. Not gravity. Not space control. Not technology. Memory. The Zerath fleet would never be forgotten. Their fate would shape every future decision made in the galaxy. Humans did not need to repeat the lesson. Once was enough. Elsewhere, a distant empire debated whether to challenge Earth. Younger commanders argued humans were overrated, that the story was exaggerated. An elder stood and ended the debate with one sentence. They warned them. The room fell silent. No further discussion was needed. Back on Earth, a human child looked up at the stars and asked a simple question. "Are we safe?" The parents smiled. "Yes," they said, "because we choose to be." The stars above remained quiet. No fleets approached. No empires tested the line. Because the galaxy had learned something humans learned long ago. Survival does not belong to the loudest. It belongs to those who prepare, warn, and act only when necessary. The Zerath fleet had been powerful, but power without patience had made them disappear. And so the galaxy lived on, balanced by an unspoken rule, not enforced by fleets, not enforced by fear, but by understanding. If Earth speaks, you listen. If Earth warns you, you turn back, because the galaxy never saw that fleet again, and no one ever wanted to be the next story.